Hey there everyone, and Happy New Year 2025 to you all. In today's video, I very quickly want to talk about an important and very useful Flet property available in all controls, which is the parent property. So I came up with two code examples to better showcase this parent property. And in the first one, we're going to be looking at the basics, so all what you should be aware of. And in the second one, we're going to be looking at a more practical example. So inside this first example over here, you can see we have two variables. So we have a text, we have y, which is a container, and inside the page we are adding this y control. So we are adding this container. Adding this container to the page is what we refer to in Flet as mounting. Here at the bottom we are printing the parent of these controls. Alright, so let's run this. As you can see, the container is successfully shown in the page as expected. You're going to notice from here that X has a parent of type none, meaning X has no parent. That's the default for every control which isn't yet mounted. So when you create a control like this, so ft.text and with the details, it has a parent of none. The parent is only set when the control gets mounted in the page. So when the control gets added to the tree. This X control hasn't been added to this container, nor has been added to the page, so it has no parent. Concerning Y, when we print the type of its parent, you can see we have view being printed out instead of the page, which you might have expected, because yeah, it is being added to the page. So the page is supposed to be printed out as the parent of this Y, of this container. So we have view over here because the page is actually itself a view. If you look at the source code for the page, you're going to see that it is actually a view. Okay, so now I'm going to add the text inside this container. So I'm just going to say the container should have a content, which is our text. I'm going to run this. You can see from here that x.parent is of type container, and which is what we expect because this x gets added as child to this container. And when the container gets mounted, so gets added to the control tree, X equally gets mounted. And that's the reason why we have container as the parent type of X. So the take-home message is simply that each unmounted control has a parent of none, and this parent only gets set when the control is mounted. So let's move to the second example, which is more practical. So here we are creating an empty list view, populating it with some list styles. Each list style, so we are here in the for loop, each list style is going to have the text. Click the delete icon to delete tile with the tile number. Then we are going to have here a trailing icon, which when the user clicks, should handle the removal of the tile from the list view. Inside this callback event function, we are getting the icon button, so e.control, which refers to the control through which the event was triggered. So over here you can see this on click, this is the event. This is the event function, and the event gets triggered through the icon button, and that's what we are getting over here. So e.control references the icon button. So we have here our icon button, and here we are getting the tile. So here we are saying icon button.data to get the tile in which this icon button is present, because we are storing the tile here as data. And from there we are saying lv, so list view.controls.remove this tile, and we are updating the page. I'm going to run this. So we can see it. When I click this delete icon button, the tile gets deleted. When I click delete, the tile gets deleted. So that's how simple this example is. So here we have a deprecation warning, which says icons enum is deprecated since version 0.25.0 and will be removed in version 0.28.0. Use icons enum instead. So the migration is quite simple. I just have to use capital I instead of the small I. So the code we have here works as expected. It does what we want, but we are going to optimize it using the parent property. So you can see here, we had to store the tile inside the data in order to reference it from here. Using the parent property, we no longer have to do this. I'm going to remove the tile as a data. It means that here, we no longer have to say icon button.data, but we simply have to say .parent. And from here, we are able to directly have the parent of this list style. What we can do next is have this trailing, so we don't have to separate it. We can directly have it inside this constructor. So you can see we have the trailing directly here, And we don't even need to store this inside a variable. So we don't need that t. We can copy all of this, remove the t variable, and inside this append, we are appending directly this list tile. That's the beauty of this method. We no longer have to store the tile inside a variable. We can directly add it like this inside the list view. And from here, you can see we say icon button.parent, and with this, we are able to target the parent of this icon button. Who is the parent of this icon button? The list tile. From here, we are able to get the tile, then remove from the list view. Let me run this. And as you can see, the code works as expected. So it is awesome because you no longer have to keep references. You can directly use the .parent and you're able to target the tile immediately. Another thing we can optimize is the creation of this list view. You can see here we have to store it inside a variable LV in order to access it over here and remove the tile from it. But with the use of the parent property, we no longer have to store a reference to the list view here as a variable. So we can simply have the list view directly inside this page, and then the controls can be created using a list comprehension. So by the way, that's Codium or GitHub Copilot suggesting. And here I'm going to copy this list tile, paste it inside here. You can see the I is no reference, so Python doesn't know what this I means. And for that, you simply have to copy this for loop and paste it immediately after the list tile. And you can see Python recognizes what this I means, which is simply the I from the for loop. So that's how you create a list comprehension. So we have our tile, then we have our for loop, all of this inside a list. And from here, you can see we have lost the reference to LV. How can we restore this reference to LV? We can simply say from here, LV is equals to the tile.parent. So here we have the icon button.parent, which is the tile, and here we have LV as the tile.parent. And from here, we say LV.control, so the parent of this tile, which is the list view, we are accessing its controls, and we are removing the tile from it. If I run this, I click, you can see everything works as expected. As you can see, we made use of the parent property to obtain the tile, to obtain the list view, and I really think this code looks way more better than the code we had at the beginning. If you face any issues or have any questions, please drop them in the comments and I will respond to you as soon as possible. This was TheEthicalBoy. Thanks for watching.